So I don't know if you listened on Tuesday, but Kyle Anthony, the best UFC handicapper on the planet, wanted to see you and I in a cage match.
Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show. I am Kyle Anthony and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the prediction show for UFC 267. We're talking Jan Błachowicz defending his title against Glover Teixeira. We're talking main event. We're also going to talk a little bit co-main event. I want to talk a KO prop. And as well as I am bringing back fade of the card. There's a fighter that you're probably going to have in parlays that you may want to tread lightly. So we're going to be talking all of that. But before we do, I'm not sure if you guys said, if you follow me on Twitter at Kyle Anthony UFC, but if you do, you already know the giveaway. I am doing a giveaway 30 days of my plays for free. So the way to enter this contest is you must follow me at Kyle Anthony UFC on Twitter. You also must like, retweet, on that post that I have up already on Twitter. And what you do there is in the comment section on that post, you let me know who's winning the main event and when they're winning it. So if you think it's, Glover decision, you think it's Błachowicz, you think it's, third round knockout, whatever it may be. You don't have to know the method, but just the round. Whoever wins gets 30 days of my plays for free. And right now, again, we're killing it right now. We're doing a really good job out here making some money. And the last 19 weeks, we've cashed in 13. You also, out of those 30 days, are going to be getting my NFL plays, which right now my NFL plays are 13-5, plus about 16 units for the year. So my clients have been happy. We've been really doing a great job out here making it money, so we want to keep it going. So there you have it there. Enough of the promo. If you're interested, again, follow, like, retweet, comment, you're entered, and that's it. So before we get into it, one last thing is we're coming off a 3-1 weekend on our client plays for UFC. Did hit on our 4%. Francisco Trinaldo minus 115. We cashed on that. Very close fight. A lot of illegal strike and some things to worry about. We did cash it in. It was nice to get that one there. Made us profitable for the weekend. So for the weekend, we were up, including NFL, up about 9 units. Great weekend, but we got to keep it going. We did hit, on pretty much, everything that we had. So I feel good about it. And let's go into the main event of Saturday night. We're going to be talking Jan Błachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. So like we always do here, we're going to be talking last 3 fights for each fighter. See what we see if one fighter can expose the other, and if the line makes sense to place a wager. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker. I always say that, but then I talk a lot. But we're going to go this a little bit quicker because we do have a lot to cover today, and I don't want to have the show go too long. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to talk is Jan Błachowicz. Now right now you've got the line. He's roughly around the minus 295. And you've got the comeback on Teixeira is plus 225. Now I'm seeing some lines getting well over minus 300. A lot of lines are moving, a lot of movement. So let's see how where we're going to place our money today. So we're going to first talk Jan Błachowicz. 3 fights ago, he fought Cory Anderson. Now this is a fight here where, you've got Cory Anderson, you've got the grappling, there's a lot of things now where Cory's kind of doing his thing outside of the UFC. But this was one here where in that first round, they were very patient. They were both kind of pitter-pattering, standing on the outside. I think it was a little bit of, Jan, being aware of the takedowns. And the other side, you've got Cory who's, staying away from the power, kind of looking, picking his shots. But what really, and the worrisome of the takedowns, I think could have been a little bit of the situation there, but really, Jan goes out there, and the one thing that he does is he's got that Polish power, and he goes out there, flatlines Cory. It looked like, again, they were just kind of pitter-pattering shots, staying at a distance, being patient. Big shot lands, gets the knockout victory. Jan Błachowicz wins that in the first round and gets the victory. Then you got 2 fights ago, he fought Dominic Reyes. Now, this was a fight here where, I gotta be honest with you, I was not a believer of Błachowicz at this particular moment. I kind of, Reyes was looking good, and Reyes was coming off a victory. Well, not a victory, I shouldn't say that, but he was coming off a very close loss, which some say he did win, against Jon Jones. So he's off of the heels of a Jon Jones tough matchup. I really thought this was going to be, is Leon slower? He's not as versatile as Jon Jones is. Reyes looked great. I mean, he really looked great on all angles, defending, some of the really high-level striking of Jon Jones. Going into this fight here, they both were very calculated. They both kind of took their time. They kind of both were, more relaxed. Again, that's kind of where Błachowicz has been. He's picking his spots. He's very calculated. He started, the big thing here was he was doing a lot of leg kicks. He was kind of mixing it up very well, and I think they both had respect for each other's power. I think they were very, same kind of thing where they're kind of being calculated. They don't want the big shot to land, kind of being on the outside, and landing the big shots and kind of setting it up. But in that second round is really where Jan started just laying it on him, pushing forward, outstriking him. It looked like Reyes looked real flat out there, really wasn't mixing it up the way that he was. And I thought the defense looked great on Jan as well. He kind of staying on the outside, bobbing, moving, blocking, keeping on, and Jan is the kind of guy who isn't very light on his feet, but he looked really good defensively in that spot. And come by the end of that second round is really where they both let it go. No, Jan was picking him apart, but then they both started letting it go, and that's where Jan landed a big shot, dropped him, ended the fight, getting the victory in that second round. I thought it was very impressive there, but the big shots landed again for him, gets the finish, and there you have it there. Now, an impressive fight here was his most recent one against Israel Adesanya. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of different takes on this. A lot of people say, hey, because he was bigger, and all these different, kind of storylines behind and the narrative behind that. Now, this is another spot here where I kind of was, I'm thinking Israel should go out there and probably do his thing out there. But I gotta say, I was so impressed, just really at this point of Jan's career, where he's going, and just kind of he's elevating. He looks like he's getting better. And yes, he used some takedowns, later in the fight. Yes, he did that. But I thought it was absolutely impressive the way that he was striking with him. I mean, you've got one of the highest level strikers in the game in Israel Adesanya, and you've got Błachowicz, who's kind of known to be a little more slower, plodding, and I thought he looked fantastic from start to finish. Fight was close. I mean, there were some rounds where it was kind of close, but you could tell Jan was getting it. I mean, you could tell he was picking those rounds. I thought some of the really close rounds they did give to Israel, but overall, if you could stand and strike with Israel Adesanya and look good doing it, or at least just keeping pace, that just says a lot to me. And I thought it was really, really impressive the way they went out there and got the job done, gets the victory. So there you have it there. He goes out there and defeats Israel Adesanya. On the other side, you've got Glover Teixeira. Again, he's plus 225, roughly about it. And 3 fights ago, he fought Nikita Krylov. This was a fight here where, going back and rewatching it, you really kind of forget some of the things that happened. Yes, it was a split decision. I'm pretty sure split decision victory for Glover, but there was some spots in here where he was in big, big trouble. I mean, he went out there in the beginning of it. He looked to take Krylov looked to throw a shot, takes him down, gets the grappling. But the one thing that they were doing a lot was really they were a lot of reversing. Both guys have high level grappling, but you've got Krylov all of a sudden has Glover on his back. Looks like the fight's going to be almost over. He's has a great position on his back, has him on the ground, smashing him, and then all of a sudden Krylov is in a top position and reversed him, and there was a lot of that going on. It was almost like, wait a minute, I forgot that, Krylov was able to get out of some of these. And, again, Teixeira, took some shots, but he kept pushing forward. But the part about this that I think is the most telling is that this was not the fact that it was just really close, but I actually kind of thought that Glover may have lost this fight. And I'm not very big on Krylov to begin with and just, overall his skill set. But, Glover did what he had to do. He can grind it out. The one thing about him, though, is that he can just keep pushing forward. He's a tough guy. He's a veteran. He knows the tricks. He knows how to kind of keep himself, when he's hurt, how to kind of, get through the fire and try to get out the outside with an advantage or with some kind of advantage there. But he goes out there. He gets the scissor victory. Very, very, very close fight, but I got to give him credit on really that vet move of just kind of keep pushing forward, grinding it out, and getting the victory. 2 fights ago, he fought Anthony Smith. This is one here where I really believe that Anthony Smith was just looking for that early KO. I mean, he was not looking to pitter-patter shots. I don't think he was looking to kind of, hey, this is a 5-rounder. I'm going to take him into deep water. Maybe he's the older guy. You heard the corner of Smith just yelling. Kraus was yelling, just do this, do that. And the output of those first 2 rounds was just off the charts. I mean, it was such a massive amount of strikes. And you even hear Daniel Cormier in the announcer table kind of saying, if this goes to the 3rd round, they're almost saying this, I think, in the 1st round, just the volume. If this goes into the 3rd and the 4th round, where is his gas tank going to be? I mean, at this level, where is his gas tank going to be? And Glover was taking the shots. And the one thing, again, that Glover does is, he can take those big shots. And we've seen his chin look slightly iffy, but he can take the big shots. But the one thing he does is when he gets rocked, he can kind of just latch onto you. He's so damn strong when he's in the clinch that, he can try to either ragdoll you down or keep you up against the fence. And Smith was doing a great job. Smith was kind of moving. He, kept moving outside, landing the big shots. And he was winning that 1st round. Into that 2nd round, he looked really good. But into that 2nd round, I mean, it was just his cardio fell off a cliff. He wasn't really able to do too much. I thought that he kind of looked, at that point, he just didn't have much left with him. And then that's when Glover took over, got the takedowns, smashed his face in, teeth falling out, all these crazy things going on there. But really the fact that Glover was just able to, again, keep pushing forward, take the shots, have a veteran move and say, listen, I got to latch on. I got to get you down. I don't want to stand and strike with you. But he goes out there. He gets the late stoppage. Heck of a fight for him. But he goes out there and weathers the storm against Anthony Smith. And then most recently, he fought Thiago Santos. Now, this was a fight where really, Santos is a beast. I mean, Santos is a beast, but he has definitely started to trickle down. You saw it in his last fight where he seems kind of gun shy, and even the fight before that, he just wasn't, the output wasn't there, that fire in him, the big shots, the power shots. And here, I think Santos knew, listen, I got to land the big shot again. And he goes in the same position, kind of the same kind of thing that you're seeing in other fights, where he throws the big shot and he rocks Glover, drops him, got him back up. I mean, it almost looked like that fight could have been over. But Glover does the same thing. He kind of goes on autopilot. He ends up latching on, getting a takedown. And from there, again, it was, 2 rounds of just, once Glover realized, I'm not standing with this guy anymore. He then at that point said, you know what, I'm going for the takedowns. I'm doing what I do best. He gets the takedown. He gets the finish in the 3rd round, finds a submission victory. A nice win for him, but again, showing he can be hittable and showing that sometimes that defense isn't always there, but he goes up there and gets the victory. Now, with that being said, and quickly wrapping this all up, now you've got the Polish power on Błachowicz, and you've got his ability where he's able to knock out guys, and he's knocked out, we talked Reyes, we talked Cory Anderson, Luke Rockhold, and he mixes up his attacks very well. And that's one thing that I do like about Jan, is that he's able to really mix it up. He's able to kind of throw the leg kick, hard body kick, then look to the head. He doesn't just head hunt. He's looking to kind of mix it up, and he's able to grind it out. But, he's very methodical with his offense. He's not out there and he's just, throwing wild strikes. Everything he throws has a purpose to it. He's not wasting energy, and I think that could help him on Saturday night. And then the other side, you've got Teixeira, well-rounded guy. The high-level grappling is obviously going to be a big part of this storyline, but I think the biggest part, really, of this, when I was breaking it down, is kind of back to what I was saying about Jan, is how hittable Glover is. And what happens when Glover gets hit? So the first part really is when, how hittable Glover is. I mean, a lot of times Glover is willing to kind of, if he's looking to cut that distance to get his hands on it, because he knows he has such an advantage on most guys, that he's willing to take that shot. He's willing to take that shot, move forward, bang, 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 move forward. Now I think at this point, 41, he's starting to get up, get over that 40 mark. Starts to be a little worrisome when you're talking about this division. And he's able to take those shots, he was able to take those shots, but the holes in the defense, I think, really going to make the Polish power have opportunities to land. And, Jan is a strong guy. He's not going to be an easy guy to take down, but he's a strong guy when it comes to that. And the MMA mileage that you have on Glover, and just some of these battles, some of these knockdowns that were just brutal, that he's taken over his career, how long can that just withstand that? And when you're a kind of a guy that's looking to cut that distance, I think that's where Jan is gonna find a lot of success. And on the other side of that, you've got the grappling part. Now, if he does get his hands on Błachowicz, where can the fight go? On the one side, you've got Glover, who's got a 40% takedown success rate. let's, okay, 40%. You got on the other side, you got 65% takedown defense for Błachowicz. But the fact that I think that both of these guys, when they're standing toe-to-toe and they're going to be exchanging, I think the striking just really goes to Błachowicz. The power goes to Błachowicz. I think that, the hitability is going to be going in Blachowicz' favor. He's going to be able to land some nice shots. And again, I really think piggybacking this Israel Adesanya fight, where he knew and just really elevated his striking, fighting Israel Adesanya, knowing what he's getting himself into, he probably really elevated those skills. I think coming into this fight, he's going to defend those shots. I think it's going to be an opportunity for him to really kind of work around the cage. Again, we're in the bigger cage. I think that's going to help also, where he's not going to be having Glover pin him up against a smaller cage, up against the fence, working him and then looking to level change. I think this is a spot here where I do like Błachowicz to go out there and get this victory. But obviously now the number's getting kind of high at this point here. So I think that there's a prop play here that I think is screaming our name to place a wager. Now, I like the Polish power here. I am backing the Polish power here. So my prop here and the KO prop here is going to be Błachowicz plus 105 via knockout. You're getting off the big number. I think that this is a spot where you're going to see, now again, a lot of people, when they hurt Glover, they just go crazy. They go in there, they're looking for the big shot, and Glover level changes and gets a takedown. I think Błachowicz is going to hurt him and keep on the outside and just make sure that he's doing the right stuff, because again, I really like his fight IQ. I think he can go out there. I think he's going to land the big shots. I think he's going to get the finish. So I like Błachowicz as one of my free plays to go out there and get the finish via knockout. In this 5-rounder, I think he finds that chin. So there you have it there. We are now going to be talking the fade of the card. Now, again, this is one that I'm not saying that you need to, this is not a client play. I'm not saying play the other guy, because a lot of people are saying, hey, do you really like it? Do you want to play? I'm saying that the favorite in this fight, which is priced pretty high, is not one that you want to tie into all your parlays. It's not one that you're going to say, hey, I'm going to be betting this one heavy because, I just think that he's going to go out there and get the finish here. There's some different things here. And again, you never know, but it's one you may want to tread lightly. So we're taking a look at it. We're going to be talking Lerone Murphy versus Makwan Amirkhani here. Now, this is one here. You've got Murphy, who's a minus 340. You've got Amirkhani, who's plus 260. I just think to start, this is just way wide. This is way too wide for me here. Now, it's again, you am I a full believer in Amirkhani? I'm not fully saying that, but I'm saying there's paths here for him to go out there and get this victory, or at least make this line look much, much closer compared to what we're looking at right now. So obviously you've got Murphy, he's got the power, he's strong. There's a lot of things that we do like about him. He's kind of the sexy pick. He's he's the up and comer kind of thing. And you've got Amirkhani, who's a guy who is really just not has displayed the hype that everyone really believed. Coming into the UFC, he had hype behind him. He looked to be like this big guy. This up and comer, not big guy, but up and comer. Coming into the division. But the big thing that's been an issue for him, and probably also why this line is a little bit wider, is the cardio. There is one thing that he has done terrible is really he can go out there in that first round. He can seek those takedowns. He can look for push the pace a little bit, bring the fight to his opponent, and he really has this big dump off where he just can't keep that pace going, and then he starts losing it. Either looks unmotivated at times, where he just can't, there's just, and all of a sudden the other guy takes over, and that's where it goes. But for me in this spot here, and why I say you really should maybe fade Murphy, is the grappling situation here. Now, obviously, that's the path to victory for Amirkhani. And there's, when we're talking striking, it's going to be Murphy. If this is on the feet, Murphy's going to spark him. The fight's going to be over. But I think that he's going to be able to push the pace. And the one thing that Amirkhani does is that he's not scared to just he's not scared to stick to the plan, to stick to the one path. He's got a solid background of wrestling. He can grapple, he can seek that, and when he's on top, he really does seek the submissions. He seeks to get the finish. He's not scared to push that pace. He wants to push that pace, and that's where you could see Murphy kind of getting tired. If he's got Amirkhani on him, and Makwan's able to get him and grapple him, push him up against the fence. Stylistically, I think it's a tougher matchup than this line indicates. This line is way wide for me here. I mean, you're heading towards a 4-1 favorite. I think it's way too wide for me. This is one that I actually, I don't have anything on. This is one I'm not even sprinkling Americani here. I'm not, would I maybe put a little, no, maybe I put a little something on it, maybe. But for me, it's just, I'm more just a fade on Murphy here. I don't think it's worth it. I think the style is tough for him. I think that he's shown the ability to get those takedowns and to stick to the plan of takedowns for Americani, where Murphy, that's where he could struggle. And if we start getting into that third, a couple tight first rounds, and Murphy maybe either, has shown to have cardio, but if he gets, taken down and positioning, Makwan could work to a decision victory here or get a finish if he's able to do that, because he's always seeking those submission victories here. So for my fade of the card, I'm going Lerone Murphy. I'm saying stay the fuck away from him. Not worth it. There's other spots. There's actually a lot of spots that I do like here, and so we will, got a lot of client plays I will have be posted up this week. So definitely take a look if you're interested. There are my plays on Wager Talk, my client plays. And my last thing that I will be discussing will be the co-main event here. Now, this is one here where, I wasn't, looking at it, hey, tough fight, great fight. You've got Petr Yan versus Cory Sandhagen, a great fight. But the line to me is just way too wide again. And that's one thing that when you're taking a look at the lines here for this event, there's a lot of wide lines here, and you got to pick your spots. You got to find spots where you're going to find some value, and this to me is a value spot here. Now, we just talked about Murphy, where hey, the line's wide. I just think it's wide. I think it's a stay away, and there's a difference between kind of a fight that hey, the line's wide and it's worth the value play, and then there's where it's wide and it doesn't make sense, and there's a lot of different paths for the other guys. It's just hey, pick another fight to place a wager on. So in this spot here, you've got Yan, who is minus 280. You've got Sandhagen, who's a plus 220. It actually went up today. So really looking at it here, there's just no way that I see Cory Sandhagen should be this type of dog in this spot with his skill set, what he brings. Overall, and when you're looking at it here, there's no doubt that Yan is a straight killer. He is a beast. He has just really shown high level all around. He's a fantastic fighter. I think he can go out there, and I thought that he actually, against Aljo, I think he can go out there, and I think we're all kind of on board there that Aljo was about to get finished in that fight there. So there's no doubt that Yan is a great fighter. But if you really take it, Cory Sandhagen, I think this fight will be much closer than this line is indicating. You've got Cory Sandhagen, who's 2-7 in the, not 2-7, 7-2 in the UFC, 4 finishes. His only loss comes from Aljo and comes from TJ. And in that TJ fight, the one thing about that fight was really that I think if he pushed the pace a little more, if he just went out there and pushed volume and just went out there, I think he makes it, I think he gets the victory. I think he goes there and he gets the victory in that fight there. I think that's something that he can bring to the cage on Saturday morning, because it's actually going to be an earlier fight. I was going to say Saturday night, Saturday morning. And the other side here, you've got, Petr Yan, who is, again, fantastic fighter. I'm not knocking him at all. I don't want to hear, oh, you don't like him, he's not that good. No, I'm not saying that. The line is indicating where I would be placing my money. And you look at it where, the one fight that really just sticks out to me the most is against Jimmy Rivera. This was a fight here where Rivera was pretty much, winning the first 2 rounds, but the end of each of those rounds, he was rocked, and that kind of gave Yan, those rounds and got him the victory there. And beating Uriah Faber, not that great of a victory there. Obviously beating Aldo, that's massive. Obviously Aldo is Aldo, but you've got somebody like Cory Sandhagen. He's going to have the 3-inch advantage. I think that's going to be big. Again, this is another spot where the cage, we're going to have the normal size cage here as well. So I think that's going to help him keep space, move around, not being able to just stand and have to bang with Yan. And Yan's pressure style, in a smaller cage would really I would want to probably stay away from this, because in a smaller cage, I think he's going to be able to cut distance a little bit better. Here, you're going to have the bigger cage. And one thing about Sandhagen, he is not just well-rounded, but he is light-footed. He moves around very well. He's going to have more space to work. I think that's going to help him. And the pressure, yes, he's going to be seeking that. But I really like him having the opportunity to go into this spot and have the larger cage, work from a distance, find his opportunities to chip away. He's not going to look to stand and just trade randomly with Jan. There's just no way he's going to do that. So if he stays on the outside, utilizes his reach, and all of his, I mean, he's got fantastic weapons, high flashy stuff. I think he can go out there and chip away. Now again, plus 220 for me is just way too high. It's just way too good, I'm sorry, to pass. I think this is worth a sprinkle play on. I think it's absolutely worth it. Jan, again, should he be the favorite? Absolutely. But I think that the value is 100% on Cory Sandhagen here. So at plus 220, that is my other play here. Those are my free plays for UFC 267. And again, if you want to get my Wager Talk plays, link down in the description. And also, if you want to have 30 days of my plays for free, again, check out my Twitter. Gotta like the post, retweet, follow me, and as well as let me know who is winning and when they're winning in the main event. So there you have it there. Let's see if we keep this going. Let's go to 14 out of 20 weeks. Let's win 14 of them. We will see you on the next show. And this is Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show, and I'll see you next time.